I think Denver's the second best team in the West, in my opinion. I really like Cam Johnson going there. Jamal Murray, he's on fire right now. The Joker, man, this guy is so great. He's had like 3 triple-doubles in a row, and we just kind of like...
The Denver Nuggets have lost 10 games this season by 3 points or less. 37% of their entire loss column gone by a single possession or less. Now, before I get into what this actually means, I want to be upfront about something. I'm not here to tell you Denver is playing their best basketball right now, because they're not. The defense is still inconsistent. They let teams hang around way longer than they should. The wins are coming, but nobody's looking at this team and thinking they've fully figured it out.
Focus behind the back, what a pass for the dunk for Peyton Watson. Absolutely unbelievable.
But what I'm going to show you is that the signs are there. The form is building. And when you actually dig into this season, the schedule they were handed, the injuries they absorbed, the games they lost by a hair, the picture that emerges is completely different from the one the standings have been telling us. Because the record is a lie, and the real Denver Nuggets are only just starting to show up. Let's go back to the start of the season. Denver opened the year 20-6, the best start in franchise history. They had top 5 rankings in both offense and defense simultaneously. This was a team that looked like it could genuinely challenge for the top seed in the Western Conference. And then the injury bug hit them harder than almost any team in the league. Aaron Gordon missed 43 of the team's first 75 games with a hamstring strain. Nikola Jokic missed roughly a month with a hyperextended left knee and bone bruise. Peyton Watson missed 19 consecutive games. At various points, Cam Johnson and Christian Braun were also out. David Edelman, in his first year as head coach, was doing roster Tetris every single week just to field a competitive lineup. The result was a 22-22 stretch that wiped out most of that early momentum. But the question you have to ask is, what did that stretch actually look like? Because I'd argue it looked like a shorthanded team grinding through the toughest schedule in the NBA. Denver had 17 back-to-backs this season, the most of any team in the league. The league average when the schedule dropped was 14.4. For context, both the Lakers and OKC have only played 12 back-to-backs so far. And Denver's record in those back-to-backs? 11-6. While dealing with Jokic out for a month and Gordon missing the majority of the season. That's a team holding itself together under conditions that would have buried a lot of franchises. So when someone tells you Denver had a disappointing season, the full picture is this. They had the most grueling schedule in the league, a laundry list of injuries to their core rotation, and they're still sitting 4th in the Western Conference. Now let's talk about the close losses, because this is where it gets genuinely interesting. 10 games lost by 3 points or less. 2 of them tell you everything about what this team could have been. March 9th, Oklahoma City. On the road against the number 1 seed in the West, Denver lost by 3. This is the week before the roster gets fully healthy. They're still patching things together and they come within a possession of beating OKC away from home. Then March 14th against the Lakers, overtime, last-second shot, Denver loses by 2. The players said afterwards that one felt like it slipped away. They had control and let it go in the final minutes. That's the kind of loss that happens when your rotation has been shuffled for 4 straight months and the cohesion just isn't quite there yet. If Denver wins those 2 games alone, they're in 3rd seed in the West with 50-plus wins. Win 5 of those 10 close ones and you're looking at a 53-55 win team fighting for the top seed. The entire can Denver compete conversation disappears. They were never as bad as the record suggested. They were a roster held together by tape, playing the hardest schedule in the league and losing winnable games by a hair. So what does the team look like now? Let's be honest. They aren't winning every game convincingly. The win over Utah on March 27th, Denver was down 13 in the 4th quarter against a team that is actively trying to lose. They came back and won 134 to 129, but they had no business being in that situation. Jokic didn't sugarcoat it after the game. Layup after layup, no defense, and the Warriors game, Denver were down double digits before halftime. Then the second half happened. They outscored Golden State by 30 and won 116-93. But let's not rewrite that as a dominant performance from tip-off. They needed a halftime reset to find the level their talent suggests they should be playing at. The defense still needs consistent effort. But here's what matters. Even when the performances aren't clean, they're finding ways to win basketball games in March. Winning ugly still builds habits, still builds confidence, still builds the kind of belief you need going into the postseason.
Unstoppable force. Nikola Jokic with 23, 13, and 7.
Now let's talk about what Jokic has actually been doing, because this is the part of the Denver story that deserves more attention than it's getting. Jokic is averaging 24.7 points, 15 rebounds, and 13.2 assists on 57.3% from the field, including 4 triple-doubles. March 24th in Phoenix, 23 points, 17 rebounds, 17 assists on the road. With 11 seconds left, scores tied, Jokic makes the floater. Denver wins 125-123. That is a player who simply does not feel pressure the way other people do. Then against Dallas, 23 points, 21 rebounds, 19 assists. And alongside him, Jamal Murray dropped 53 points on 19 of 28 shooting, hitting 9 threes. The first time in NBA history that one player scored 50-plus while a teammate posted 20 or more rebounds and 15 or more assists in the same game. Against Utah, 33 points on 13 of 16 shooting, 81% from the field, 15 rebounds and 12 assists, and they were still down 13 in the fourth before he helped drag them back. Then the Golden State game, 25 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists in a second-half blowout. Jokic was questioned earlier this season. After returning from his knee injury, his shooting was off and his turnover numbers spiked. He called himself inconsistent in his own words. But what's happened over these last few games is Jokic recalibrating back to what he was doing before the injury. 30 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists on 60% shooting. That version of Jokic is every bit as terrifying as anything the league has ever seen from him.
And with the Lakers, 20-20! And the blue arrow thunders one down.
And with Jamal Murray alongside him having the best season of his career, 25.5 points, 7.2 assists per game, career-high numbers across the board. He made his first All-Star team, multiple 50-point games. He's hitting 42.8% from 3 on 7.5 attempts per game, and he just set the Nuggets franchise record for most three-pointers made in a single season, 222 and counting. On most rosters, Murray is the clear number one option. Here, Jokic is so dominant that Murray sometimes feels like a secondary headline. Make no mistake, you're dealing with one of the best scoring guards in the league. Now let's talk about what makes this team different from the one that lost to OKC in 7 games last year. That series exposed a real problem. Everyone knew Denver lived and died by Jokic, and OKC made them pay. Double teams, triple teams, constant pressure every time he touched the ball. And because the supporting cast was so thin, they ran out of men. This year's team is a direct response to that. Tim Hardaway Jr. is shooting 41% from 3 and leads the entire league in bench three-pointers made. Cam Johnson is now shooting 42.7% from deep. And for the first time since 2020, Denver's three-point rate is actually higher with Jokic on the floor than off. The perimeter profile of this roster has completely changed. You can't load up on Jokic and ignore the shooters anymore because Hardaway and Murray will make you pay. You can't go under screens because Jokic will post you up or find Gordon or Watson cutting baseline. The double teams that neutralized him in the OKC series now become the mechanism that gets Denver open. Looks from outside. They also have real depth now. Peyton Watson has taken an offensive leap. Christian Brown, Jonas Valanciunas is a backup who can score and rebound. Spencer Jones providing shooting and defense. Hardaway is a genuine weapon in the second unit. Denver pushed OKC to 7 games last year without any of this. On defense, Denver ranks 21st on the season at 116.2, but since the All-Star break they've improved to 113.9, ranking 15th in the league during that stretch. But the single most important stat is this. With Aaron Gordon on the floor, their defensive rating is 108.9. That would rank second in the entire NBA. Without him, it drops to 117.1. A 9-point swing from one player. Their defense doesn't have a system problem. It has an availability problem. Gordon has missed 44 games this season, and history matters here. In their championship run, Denver's regular season defensive rating was 113.5, not that different from where they are now. In the playoffs, it dropped to 110.2. When the pace slows down and rotations shrink, This team has shown they can defend at a completely different level. So here's where all of this lands. The Denver Nuggets had one of the most difficult seasons in the league. 17 back-to-backs, Jokic out for a month, Gordon missing over half the team's first 75 games, Watson gone for 6 weeks. And through all of it, they're sitting fourth in the Western Conference. Are they playing their best basketball right now? No. But the pieces are there. Jokic is doing things nobody else on the planet can do. Murray is playing the best basketball of his career. Gordon is close to healthy. Hardaway has been one of the best off-season pickups in the league. And they have a real bench now, something they didn't have when they nearly beat OKC last year. Jokic and Murray are 13-1 in Game 7s. That comes from a specific kind of composure, from knowing what it feels like when everything is on the line and finding a way to still be standing at the end. The record this year told one story. The close losses, the back-to-backs, the injuries, the schedule. They tell a completely different one. And the version of this team that's starting to emerge right now, with Jokic in this kind of form, is a team nobody wants to see in the playoffs. The rest of the Western Conference is about to be reminded of what this organization looks like when it's whole. So what do you think? Are the Nuggets starting to look dangerous again? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons and check out one of these videos on your screen now.